United States flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Nancy will lead us in prayer.
Please pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for bringing us all together safely again tonight. Thank you for the great start to the school year. Be with us, each and every one of us, as we continue to go through school through the year. Help us to do the best thing for kids and watch over and protect all of the Gatesville ISD faculty, staff, and stakeholders. In your name we pray. Amen.
Speaking of which, we got our 10 Commandments posters. Somebody donated them, I guess an organization, so this has to fit a certain amount of height and width, and then it has to be displayed in a what they call a conspicuous spot in each classroom per the law. We have to have them mounted by September 1st. And, I'm sure this is going to get hung up in courts, but to appease the governor and his attorney general, we are posting them. So. To stay out of their bad doghouse area. So. And it is in the old, it's in the old King James type, you know.
Oh.
Don't covet thy neighbor's manservant, maidservant, no graven images. I don't know if the kids will understand some of that, but.
Seeing no one here to present public comments, we'll go to the consent agenda. Minutes of July 21st, minutes of August 5th, financial statements as of July 31st, bills and payrolls for July 25th, 2025, budget amendments, year-to-date budget amendments to fund balance, vital signs report. Does anybody want any of those pulled? Do I hear a motion to accept them? Okay, Mary, and do I hear a second? Okay, Cheyenne, all in favor? Got it. Information, back to school bash.
Hello. I was just going to update y'all on the back to school bash we had on the 9th. We had a good turnout. We served over 200 families that day, and we gave out 365 pairs of athletic shoes, 371 backpacks. Hairdressers from around town gave 80 haircuts. Lions Club came out and did 44 students for vision screenings, and then we also had some audiologists doing hearing screenings as well on 28 kids. And some of those were referred on, and we gave that information to the nurses, so they'll be checking with campuses. And then we had a lot of vendors that turned out. It was really good. They gave out information. They had prizes for the parents that came, and so overall, our kids were taken care of and ready to start the year.
Those are great statistics. Lots of haircuts, lots of backpacks.
It was busy. It was a steady stream all morning long. So
later on in the year, Pam will do dental and different things like that.
In April, we'll have that.
Good thanks, Pam.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff for our community.
Absolutely.
Handbooks.
All right.
Equally as wonderful.
Handbooks are my life, ladies. Oh my goodness. Code of conduct last time, and then we have, this is not an action item, it's just it's an information item, but the student handbook, I included the employee handbook this time. I don't think I've done that in the past, but you should be able to at least look at that too. Wings handbook, which Pam did, and the DAP handbook, which Pam also did. They're posted. I gave you a version of them with changes in it the best I could. There weren't a whole lot of things that just were crazily new this year. Again, like we did the code of conduct, it might be better if you had specific questions instead of me just trying to ramble on about what I think you want to hear.
I thought it was very well done.
Well,
This is the first time I will tell you I read it.
yeah.
And I will tell you, I did fall asleep a couple of times.
It's good to save your material.
But my wife said, "Are you going to put that on your by your lamp, or are you going to leave that in the bed with you?" And I said, "No, I'll read it."
One of the biggest
It was
changes.
good.
Thank you.
Very
One of the
well
biggest changes for the employees is the reporting period. The law changed. You had 48 hours. You used to have 48 hours to report suspected abuse. Now you have 24 hours.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that's a good change, but that's a big one to make sure everyone knows about.
And now we'll have, any other
Any
questions?
other question?
Press box.
So junior high field house press box, I had an update with the two architects and expressed to them our collective displeasure with the prices being higher than expected. And of course, that's inflation and things like that. And so he went back to the drawing board to try to get more in there, more squeezed. And one of his ways of doing that was if we can, and this is not an action item tonight, but something for you to think about, pay more money up front, specifically 1.4 million, go ahead and pay for all the designs. He said that would then allow you to hit the ground running as soon as the bond is passed, you can start. He said if you wait till the bond and then you start drawing, then that's where all these prices start, because it's months and months and months more. And so the bond would then, there's a thing called a reimbursement resolution, to where we would then reimburse ourselves that money with the bond money. In talking to Leanne, and Leanne consulted with Region 12 and some other of our financial people, we've got plenty of money to do that sort of thing. It's not a huge risk. At the very worst case scenario, if we paid for it, we had the designs it had, and then the bond failed, we would still have the designs. But anyway, that was one thing to expedite it. He said if you did that, then you could have 6th grade come over, all of the junior high renovations that we had talked about, except one thing would be a little bit minimized. So the auditorium, we could fix the acoustics, but he said that would be it. So the seating and all those sorts of things wouldn't be included. But all the other things about 6th grade coming over, cafeteria expanding into the library, new library being built, Mary Bishop Gym connecting to the main building, the portables going away, all the horrible non-ADA compliant restrooms being fixed, all that would be done. It would also get the field house. The field house would be a nice big metal building. No more. He took off any brick facade. We said we don't need brick. It's behind the visitor stands. Nobody's going to see it. It would stay 14,000 square feet. It would house all the boys' sports except tennis. We don't need tennis in there. And then we could do the press box, and on the visitor side, make it the home side and add 1,000 seats. And it would you'd still get the track resurfaced. But that 26 million, then you would not get the turf on football or baseball, and you would not get the Clay Reeves Auditorium fully redeveloped. It would just be the acoustics. So that was his last iteration of his best effort to use that 26 million to get what we wanted. Mary?
If legally you could do the 1.4 and not reimburse, could that take care of the auditorium?
Oh, yeah. So we'll have to have discussions with y'all about our fund balance, how much is in there, how much is restricted to the 2 or 3 months operating expenses you have to keep in there legally, and then how much you have to play with. So I don't know, Leah, if you know offhand, what was it, 14, 12?
Our unassigned fund balance as of last year, of course, I'll get a new one when the audit is finished for this year, but it was right at 11.5 million, somewhere right in there.
So that's not including the 2 months or 3 months we have to have?
That's not including that.
Okay.
And then
How many people does the junior high auditorium seat?
I want to say 400 maybe, 450. It's terrible seating, those tiny wooden chairs and.
I think that's worth discussing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what?
I said, I think that's worth discussing. Like if you're gonna, what
Yeah.
Marianne just said, like if we're gonna
If you're gonna do
remodel
it.
everything else, maybe take a little extra to.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, if we don't do very much with that auditorium, it's not gonna get used.
right.
In fact, when we opened that school, when I was in the 8th grade, we used it some, but we still, all the big things are always over at the high school.
Because you're leaving it as is and you're also pulling your grade level back in.
And
So
it
it's
just
like
sits
you
there.
would almost want it
I would-
to be nicer to, anyway.
I'd rather not use it and turf the fields.
Oh,
But, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
options.
I wouldn't be an optimist.
And I'm a
So
big
what?
fine arts person, don't get me wrong, but we have a wonderful facility at the high school. And for example, when the choirs perform, the 6th grade and the 7th grade and the 8th grade and the 9th grade all like to hear each other and perform together. So they would do it at the high school, but that's where the seating would be.
Which is
I'm not,
Texas.
I know that junior high school auditorium needs a lot of work, but I would just simply put the 6th grade in it. We just don't use it. This is in my opinion. At the
Or the 6th grade classrooms, are you saying?
Awards?
Assemblies.
you just
Yeah.
put them there.
Yeah.
Then you might be able to do everything.
He offered, he said, well, do you want to have a cafetorium?
No.
3 steps at a little crummy stage in the cafeteria. And I was kind of like Charles. I said, nah, cafetoriums are terrible, in my opinion. You can't hear anything. The seating's terrible because you're sitting at a kitchen.
If you move the 6th grade over there, it's not going to hold the student body.
Right, at one time.
Right.
Right.
I was just thinking about, I mean, I know it's a minimal amount, but the awards, you would still have to.
Yeah. You might be able to make a nice area for 1 grade level or 2.
Yeah.
But what if you didn't have anything, what would you do? Send them to the high school? That's kind of the inconvenience to send them to another campus for their award ceremony, right?
Yeah.
And you know my concern, and I think I expressed it, that I feel that we are kind of messing over baseball and softball. Because, football gets a lot, not saying they don't, and then you hear so many people, because I'm a sports fanatic, talk about Gatesville baseball field. I'm not going to talk about softball because I don't know. And it's just...
Well, the other thing is they're used constantly.
Yeah. And
Tons and tons and tons of, long seasons. Then working with to keep the stuff going off season, and those things are really, really busy. That auditorium, let's see, I was the choral director here after I retired for 3 years, and there wasn't a thing in there for 3 years. In fact, it stores junk.
Is that because it's in such bad shape, or because it just isn't used?
No, it's because the high school theater is so nice.
Yeah.
Everybody goes over there. Now they have their awards assembly in there.
But we can discuss all those things, right? Like we
Yeah.
can have some options or
Yeah.
discuss that.
And, it's just limited amount of money and lots of things you want to do. It's just like your personal finances.
I'd say let's go for it and remodel the heck out of it if we have the money. But if we're really going to start cutting, that's where I would start.
And it may be, and Charles, you might have been about to say this, maybe the builder will come in under, they always want to under-promise and over-deliver. So up front, they're going to give you a more pessimistic worst case because they don't want the opposite to happen. Oh yeah, you can get all that, and then come the project, well, you ran out of money.
So,
Let me ask you this. Now, they were building in an inflation of 15%, 16%?
Well, it's 8% a year.
What if it doesn't occur? Does that free up extra money to do that with them?
It's all volatility and risk. You just don't know.
So are they going to come back to speak to us?
They're afraid now. No, I'm joking. No, they'll come anytime we want.
Okay.
And they were trying to, and they, after I told them that, that y'all were kind of displeased with that, he came back and got something, better, I think, together.
Yeah,
What
this has been-
what does the junior high team think about it? Do they like everything? Have they been involved at all?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I think that they would want some sort of area to have assemblies. They're going to need that even for not just awards, but they have, I would say once a week they have like those social emotional lessons where Herblin will take the boys and Susie takes the girls, and so they do use those, and even in the mornings that's their gathering place is the auditorium. And it's so loud and echoey and terrible, and so,
Well, maybe we can get it done.
yeah.
the baseball and softball fields, am I mistaken, or was that something that we were talking about doing separately from the bond?
That was more of a tack on later.
Okay.
That tacked on later when we thought we could actually do it. The original premise of the bond was the junior high, the field house, the press box.
Right.
And I was telling Calvin this earlier, everybody lobbies for their own particular thing. I mean, I have turned down a fine arts center, covered practice field for football. I mean, everybody advocates for their, and I just have to tell them, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. So, for the amount of money we have to play with. So the next month or so, I don't know if it'd be the August 20 whatever meeting, but we may come to you and ask you if you want to bite the bullet on the 1.4 million up front, or give y'all some more scenarios of different options and see which way you want to go. But this will give you some ideas of kind of where they're at right now, and maybe some deciding factors you have to make.
Well, everybody that I've run into is saying, yay, I'm moving the seats.
Yeah, and that's relatively cheap.
Yeah.
That's of all the stuff, that's pretty cheap.
That's not too, okay. Okay, any other questions?
Are you gonna add on to the stands?
Yes,
seating
on each side, 500 on each side.
Good.
So you got on the visiting side, 500?
Yeah, 500 on each. Well, no, on that side, it'll be tacked on this side and tacked on that side. So it's
Okay,
basically
I understood. On the
1,000
same
seats.
sides.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Disclosure of fees to be paid to TASB.
This is just an information item, and it's one of those strange ones that the law says I have to tell you. But it is running 2 years behind. So this is on our fuel pool that we pull in with TASB, and we get our fuel through them for a contract. We have to pay a certain percentage of fees. So in the 2023-24 school year, we paid $2,541 in fees for our 50,000 gallons of fuel we purchased. So it's just something I'm supposed to let y'all know, that we actually paid the fees 2 years ago. That I didn't get till today or yesterday. It comes in 2 years later. I'm not really sure. I don't know what we're supposed to do with that, right? I guess going forward, we could say the fees are too much and we won't do the TASB fuel.
Charlene asked me last meeting when we were gonna find out this information.
And that's why we're all here.
That's right, you wanted to know about that 2,500, but that is what we spent 23-24. And remember that when we get ready to see if we want to do the TASB cooperative again, if we feel like those are too high. But it saves us a lot of money overall because we get such a good price on fuel. I think that the 2,500 is not much to worry about.
All right, baseball upgrades.
Okay, this is about those bids that we were getting for the $100,000 that baseball got donated. And if y'all remember, we bid the netting and poles and we got that taken care of and y'all awarded that. And then we were trying to get the dugout and backstop portion. And I didn't get anybody the first time. The second bid we put out, I got only one, and it was way over the price tag. So we went back and forth, we consulted the lawyer to make sure we could do what we were doing, and we talked to athletics, and in the end, athletics asked if we could, what they really need is that new netting and pole system. And in order to do that, they have to make a new backstop wall, but they don't have to do the dugouts. So we went back to the original bidder, and we asked what the bid would look like if he cut out the dugout portion and just added the backstop wall to go with the netting and poles. And it came in within the budget that we could afford for $53,000. So I am here to ask y'all if y'all will be okay if we accept that original bid, but cut the dugout section and just do the backstop so we can get a brand new backstop and have that new netting and poles system put in that's taller, safer. One of the things they liked about it is you can look through it better. You know how you get behind the netting and you can't see. So if y'all are okay with that, we will move forward with that, and they can start 1st of September on that, and we can get it done. So any questions on that?
Do I hear a motion to accept that? All right, got a motion from Linda, second. Cheyenne, second. Any further questions? All in favor? All right.
Thank you.
Adult meal prices.
Last month I came to y'all with the new meal prices for the kids. I fixed your zeros on there. My mistake, so we got it fixed this time. But I do have new meal prices for the adults now. I couldn't do them because the consumer prices had not come in yet for adults. And so we ended up, we're bringing to you raising the breakfast for adults 10 cents and raising the adult lunch 25 cents. And that is the minimum, that is a requirement for the new federal consumer price index. We don't have a choice. And so, but it's not much, thank goodness. So I am recommending that the board approve the rate changes to the adult meals to $3.40 for breakfast and $5.25 for lunch.
Anybody have a question about that? Do I hear a motion to accept that? Okay, Mary Ann, second. Okay, Calvin, all in favor? Okay, property and casualty.
This one I'm kind of excited to bring y'all. We worked really hard to get some bid proposals. Y'all know that our property and casualty insurance is super, super expensive, and we paid $553,000 this past school year. And so the last time we took it to bid, we couldn't get anybody but PCAT, who we have had. This year we were able to get TPS also involved. They declined to give us a bid last time because we did not have two-factor authentication for our email. So our insurance covers cybersecurity also. But we do have that now, so they took another look at us. And so we ended up with two bids. PCAT gave us a new bid, and theirs actually came down. They had told us it was going to be a 10% increase. We were thinking $615,000, but things stabilized, and they came in at $535,000, which was less than this year. But TPS came in and offered us $476,000, and it actually has better coverage. So I was very excited to hear that. Our budget was very excited to hear that. And so it's actually through a company called RHSB, and basically they're brokers, and they go out and they try to find you the best deal they can, and it doesn't cost us anything. And so when they met with us, they actually said, we work for you technically, and we will do what we can to get you the best deal. So the only difference here is with them you get a 1-year thing. With PCAT it can be 1 year with option of 2 more years, where they don't increase the price more than 10%. And that's the key on that one. Although last year they increased it 17%. So what it just means is we can't get out of it if it's less than 10%, but if it's more, we can walk away. So PCAT is more expensive, but you got that 3-year, not more than 10%, or we can walk away, or TPS is 1 year at $476,000. But my recommendation is we go with TPS, and we do the 1 year, and we enjoy the little bit of cost savings we're getting this year, and the better coverage. Questions? Concerns?
Okay, do I hear a motion? Okay, Calvin, do I hear a second? Okay, Linda, any further discussion? All in favor?
Okay.
All right, interlocal.
Well, we needed to update our interlocal with the county. In 2019, they put in that cross-country track, and it didn't seem like it's been that long ago. And we had used the money from that Atmos gas easement that we've got like $30,000 out of the blue, and we used about, I don't know, $16,000 to pay for that track. And ever since then, they come in and they fix it up a little bit for us, but Brandon Bell said we really need to get this renewed. And so it's just a typical interlocal that we've had before. It's basically saying the county can have our permission to go on there and do it. And they didn't specify any cost. They've been doing it basically for free for us, but it does say in there they might want to be reimbursed in the future for materials and things like that. So Justin Latham, he is the main one that comes out, his road and bridge crew, and fixes it up. And this last rainy season, it had really washed in several areas. Linda had been out there, and hopefully they've got it back looking a little bit better. But I would recommend that the board approve the interlocal agreement with Coryell County to provide ongoing upkeep to our cross-country track.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Mary Ann, second. Linda. All in favor? Got it. And board policy C, Q, and EIA.
Boy, the poor TASB people, they have played heck trying to keep up with all these new laws. I mean, it's just constant. And some of them we've got to do right now because it's got to be, you know, before September 1st or whatever. And so these were a couple more. I would consider fairly inconsequential, but she said, go ahead and do them. And they both relate to artificial intelligence, basically telling the kids, in a nutshell, if you use AI without permission to cheat on something, that's cheating. That's basically what it says in a very fancy worded way. And so I would recommend the board adopt policy CQ local and EIA local regarding artificial intelligence. And again, that's written by our TASB policy experts, so they keep us out of legal trouble.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion to accept that one? Calvin, second? Okay, got it. Linda seconded. All in favor? Extracurricular status of 4-H.
We do this one every year too. This is when we classify Robert Ferguson, Becky Coward, and Donna Schwash as adjunct faculty. And so when the kids are doing 4-H stuff off of the premises, they can be counted present. And so those three are almost like teachers here and can do the in attendance. And so we've known them for years, very reliable, good people. So my recommendation is the board approve the resolution allowing 4-H to be considered an extracurricular activity, as well as approve the Coryell County Extension staff be considered adjunct faculty with ISD.
Do I hear a motion? Okay, Mary Ann, second. Charles? All in favor? Meeting is over at 5:56. Wow.
And we didn't really need a closed session. At 5 o'clock today, the board member election sign up ended, and we had 3 that all together signed up, so we will have an election. Cheyenne is Mary Ann's daughter, Emily Winchell, and then today, Catherine Oser, O-S-E-R. And so there'll be 3 people for 2 seats. Mackenzie was excited to be able to hold an election. It'll be her first one. Last time she didn't have weren't enough to run, so anyway. So we'll start meeting all those deadlines and all that. And then we have another meeting just a week from today, I believe.
Tuesday.
A week from
Tuesday,
Okay.
Tuesday the 26th.
Okay.
I don't think that I will be here.
All right, 5:57, we're adjourned.